Hi, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachael for Wednesday, the 13th, 11th, 12th, 13th of July. I'm not sure. I have decided to take the show on the road outside. The dude has been pent up all this time in the house, so we decided to go outside and do this from the back deck. Last Friday, I commented on something that Ed Trevors had posted, and one of his subscribers commented back, and we were backing and forthing, and he recommended to me this song "Un-numb" by Linkin Park. Now, for those of you who know me, you know that I'm more of a country music fan, so I hadn't heard this song before. I couldn't tell you if I'd heard any of Linkin Park's. I must have, because my husband likes stuff like that. So, but I don't think I'd ever heard this song before. And when I Googled it, the video came up and it brought up the lyrics, which was awesome. So I could actually listen and read what the lyrics were. And I was absolutely amazed by this incredible song that was so emotionally powerful. The singer singing about feeling numb and the expectations put on him by other people, and this need to be what other people expect. And I really got thinking about how timeless that particular sentiment is, that message is. I remember, back in the olden days when I was a teenager, feeling an incredible amount of pressure to be what other people thought I should be. I should be X, I should be Y. My family, and this is not any criticism of them. It's normal. When you're a teenager, your parents have expectations of you. Your friends and your siblings have expectations of you. And part of being a teenager is trying to figure out who you are in the midst of all of these external expectations. Growing up then and going into university and through my degrees, the same thing, that you meet people and they have these ideas, these preconceived notions of who you are and what you are called to. And in some cases, especially for me as a priest, that's part of the process. It's other people helping you discern what you are called to become. The hard part is listening to those voices with discernment and not just simply nodding and saying yes or feeling overwhelmed by their expectations, but listening to what you are feeling called to. And in my case as a Christian, what I was feeling that God was calling me to. And I think in the church, there has been a whole lot of emphasis on this expectation that we people, Christians, would define themselves by what the church says we should become. And then the church becomes synonymous with God. Or our religion becomes synonymous with the divine. And when that happens, some really unhealthy things can happen. One of the things he sings is I'm tired of being what you want me to be. And I remember thinking, growing up in church and going off to seminary and all of those things, is I felt a great deal of time I spent trying to figure out what it was the church wanted me to be, was my professors wanted me to be, who my bishop wanted me to be, even when I was ordained. What is it my congregations want me to be? I still do it to this day. I pay a lot of attention, whether they realize it or not, to what people say and their criticisms or their accolades. Usually it's the criticisms, and hearing, okay, well, if that's what they're thinking, then I should do this, rather than remembering that if I'm being faithful to who I'm called to be at heart, as a person and as a priest, then quite possibly what other people are telling me to be is not faithful to that calling. When I force myself to be what they want me to be, or what I perceive others want me to be, then I do get tired. I get exhausted. It's hard to live up to someone else's standard or someone else's expectation of what they think you should be. And the truth is that we are all created to be ourselves. Now, I know probably a lot of you are, like, I don't know about this Christian thing. I don't even know about this religious thing. And that's okay. That's okay, because what I'm trying to say to you is you choose. You make up a decision for yourself. I am a Christian. I'm a priest. And so I work from that place. And I do believe that God has created God's children, all of them, every single human being, with a purpose, a vocation, something that we're all called to do that we are called to do well. My dog is finding toys in our backyard that are not his, and I don't know where they come from, and then he breaks them. So sorry about that little distraction. He'll go find another one now. But we are called. Each of us is individual. We're unique. We're like those snowflakes. There is not and one other person who's just like us. So why would we fall into the trap of believing that we should be what someone else wants us to be? There, threw his frisbee. It was covered in water. The singer also states at one point that he believes that he says, "Be more like me and less like you." I think that the church has got it. When the church has done it wrong, the church has been teaching that people should be more like the church or more like those leaders in the church. The gospel calls us to be more like Jesus, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Jesus never tells us to push down who we are. Jesus never says, be exactly like me to the detriment of you. Very much be true to ourselves, be listening and learning and be who God has called us to be. That is what we're called to do. That does not mean that we become someone else. It doesn't mean we have to be like the preacher or like the Sunday school teacher or someone else like that. But it does mean that we're called to be ourselves, to live into who we are, who God created us to be. So yeah, when he says, "I'm tired of being what you want me to be," absolutely. There's a lot of people from the church world out there who are saying exactly the same thing. Be more like me and less like you. Yeah. We're called to be us. We're called to be who God created us to be, which is not to be like everybody else. We're not meant to be cookie cutters of anyone else. And then he sings something toward the end of the song. He sings, "You were just like me with someone disappointed in you." And that sentence really struck me because I keep thinking about how much damage has been done by institutions like the church or schools or even families, by people who maybe were not able to be parents in the best sense of the word, or spouses in the best sense of the word, people who hurt others, or people who put expectations on others. And when we come to that understanding of that sentence, "You were just like me with someone disappointed in you," that's an empathy place. That's a place where we recognize that everybody has been hurt, everybody has known pain. When we can come to that place where we recognize that others were just like us, that others were disappointed in them, hopefully that is a place of opening up, a place where we can recognize that we don't have to work from a place of pain anymore, that we can work from a place of being who we are, that we no longer have to be numb. I recognize that churches, schools, institutions, businesses, in many, many ways have worked very hard in individuals' lives to make them numb, like the singer in this song, that have made us tired of being who someone else wants us to be. And the truth is, we need to become more like us. I need to become more like me. You need to become more like you. And whether that's because you believe that God has created you to be an individual person with beauty and joy and gifts to give that are uniquely yours, or even if you're not a believer, the truth is that you are an individual person who has gifts to offer the world, things that you need to not be numb for. You need to be able to be alive to yourself and share that aliveness with other people. And so I hope that you find ways to unnumb yourself if you're feeling numb. And if this song speaks to you, I'll put the name of it and the name of the group in the description. "Un-numb" by Linkin Park. If this song speaks to you, watch the video. It's very powerful. Part of it's filmed in a church, which is saying a lot. But it's a sad song that speaks to some very deep parts of the heart. I think also it's a call to do something different. Not that necessarily you have to do something different, but the world does. that for me as a priest and for me who represents a church, we need to step up and recognize that we need to help unnumb the world, and we need to take those expectations off, that you need to be what we say. And the expectation needs to be that we accept you for who you are and we celebrate who you are. So for the person who directed me to who directed me to this video, thank you so much for expanding my horizons and introducing me to a new group that I didn't know and I really kind of like, to a powerful song and to a new way of thinking about how I can be a priest and how I can help my church help people to unnumb. Have a great day, and God bless you all. I'll see you tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachael.